Hello, everyone. So it's raining outside here in the Northwest, and I couldn't connect and do this live outside because it's raining. The rains have come. This is the typical Northwest weather, but I'm just glad it's not cold. So I'm doing my live here in my living room, and as soon as I can do one outside, I'm going to do it because I want to get as much outside time as possible with you. So I was thinking about a subject to bring to discussion today, and it took me a bit, and I was thinking it actually brought me to something that I think is really important. So I'm glad I sat here and thought about it for a bit. So, if you've been following me, I talked about the fact that this new moon coming in Virgo is trine Uranus and Taurus, which is such a great aspect to have in a new moon chart, I believe, because Uranus really quickens what it touches. It's really about up-leveling, and actually it can bring unexpected events that will actually propel us to up-level in some way. And Saturn and Uranus both rule Aquarius, and the thing that's interesting about that planetary pair is that Saturn likes comfort, it likes it to know it works, so it's the part of our consciousness that really likes to keep with what has worked in the past. But Uranus asks us to liberate ourselves from what we've already accomplished, what we've already known. It wants us to move into the next becoming, because we are capable of so much. In some ways, so many chapters in our lives, like so many identities, so many embodiments of our soul. And so Uranus, I believe, helps to quicken that. It's like, okay, you've done that. It's now time to up-level to something new that you haven't expressed yet. And so Uranus trining this new moon in Virgo is a really wonderful aspect to have, I believe. And Uranus is in Taurus. And so what this up-leveling has to do with is Taurus themes. And so Taurus themes, it's always going to be, first and foremost, our body is our greatest resource. Taurus is the part of our consciousness that recognizes that we have to attend to our body and make sure that our body has everything it needs to survive, but not just to survive, to thrive, to actually really thrive in the body. And what's nice about Virgo is that Virgo sorts out things that would contribute to the thriving and the things that would actually not contribute to the thriving, right? So there's things that we can pick up along the way in our Earth experience that we recognize, this really distracts from focusing and funneling my energy the way I'd like. This distracts from my health and well-being. It clutters my mind, or it clutters my body. It clutters my functioning well. And so with Uranus moving through Taurus, which is a bit over 7-year transit, this is going to bring up unexpected events so that we really up-level our relationship to our Taurian energy, which is our body. Our body is our greatest resource. And really listening to our body and what our body needs, taking care of ourselves. And Taurus and Virgo work so well together. They're both earth signs. And so they are working together, just as I explained, to actually, experience things of the body, which can be all the way from, as I said, survival to thriving, right? It can be, experiencing poverty to luxury. It's that whole spectrum. And Virgo is really kind of assessing, well, what in that spectrum of experience really suits me as an individual in the collective, because Virgo is so much about being an individual within the collective. Virgo sits across from Pisces. Pisces is the collective. Pisces is it really contains all of the archetypes. It's the last sign of the zodiac, so it contains everything. And so it is the divine as well. It's our connection to source energy. It can be representative of that. And Virgo is kind of the practices in which keep us aligned with the divine. And so Virgo goes in and is like, okay, this keeps me aligned and this doesn't. This is actually giving me nutrients, and this is actually taking energy away from me. It's not helping me to thrive, right? And so it's beautiful that we have this Uranus trine, the sun and moon in Virgo right now. And one of the things I'm also thinking about that I might want to write something about, because it's something that's really in depth that I would like to explore in depth and share with people, is that there's a fixed star called Regulus, and it's been in Leo, at the very end degrees of Leo, for quite some time, and it moved into Virgo fairly recently, within the last few years. And this is really interesting, because what I've learned about this fixed star is that it really it has a lot of power imbued with it. It has a lot of, it's been very much associated with like a royal star, right? And it's moved into Virgo. And so the beautiful thing about that is that where it used to be in Leo, so there was this royalty around, the Leonian energy, which can be about the ego, and it's not, we all need an ego, so it's not that ego is inherently bad. That's not it at all. But with the fixed star there, it could really be accentuating being at the top of the pyramid, and it could be accentuating the positive sides of Leo expression, and also the sides that would be shady, which would be, wanting to be the center of attention and not allowing others to share their light as well. Because Leo is all about sharing our light. But we can, if we become too self-centered in that, then we actually miss out on the light of everyone else, right? And the collective light, that when we all come together, there's just this there's more light, because everyone is getting the opportunity to share their light and their heart and what's dear to them and their love, and being honored for that. And so when Regulus moved into Virgo, I was pretty excited, because this to me means that there's going to be this potential for each person to be able to really, there's going to be kind of like this energy where humility and the virtues of Virgo, like the humility and like the service, serving the divine, and, humbling ourselves enough so that we can really be refined and honoring of the divine as well. Not to say Leo doesn't do that, because they do. They're an expression of the divine child, right? But it's part of our consciousness. It's learning about being a divine child and honoring our own light, but also honoring others' light. And then when we get into the Virgo archetype, it's like, okay, well, what do I need to refine about myself so that I am not overdoing my ego and I'm not underdoing my ego? And I would say probably one of the shadow sides of Virgo is underdoing the ego, is being too humble, hiding oneself, hiding one's light. And so it's really, and also, by the way, Virgo would be like becoming enslaved to the collective or another. It is, Pisces and Virgo is the master-slave complex. And so this is where, Virgo can have self-doubt, and it can, kind of become enslaved because of the self-doubt, and, follow others rather than really honoring one's own light, but in a refined way, so that one's light is of service to the collective, and not just service to oneself, but also service to the divine and service to the collective. And so with Regulus, the fixed star, I think that there's a lot of great potential for all of us really rising into the beauty of our personal expression of the divine. And so I find it interesting that we've had all this energy in Virgo recently. The Sun, Mercury was there, Venus was there, Mars is still there. As I said, Mars is trining Pluto retrograde in Capricorn. So, this could be working with some of these themes around, what is dear to our heart in serving the divine or serving the collective, and how, where is it that we may hold ourselves back from doing that by self-doubt, or any of the shadowy sides of Virgo, where it's like self-doubt or self-criticism, or feeling like you need to be perfect. Because the thing is nobody is perfect. We're all imperfect because we're always evolving. So there's always going to be more to become. There's always going to be more to improve about our experience and ourselves, and it's part of the journey, right? And so one of the things I came across today, which was interesting to me, was that if we feel that we have to be perfect, and if we feel that others need to be perfect, then what we do is we actually put people that we see as perfect on pedestals. And what happens then? Because eventually you will see that this person is imperfect. They're not perfect. Just like you're not perfect, we're not perfect. We're learning, and we're on a journey together of learning. And so, one of the challenges I think that I've witnessed in my life, I'll say, is that there is a tendency to put people on pedestals. We can put our parents on pedestals. We can put, people that we really admire, like, actors, actresses, musicians, or people that are accomplished in something that we really admire. We can put them on a pedestal and think that, they just had it perfect. That's why why they are where they are, or that somehow they are perfect and that only they could do that there's no way we could do it because we're not perfect. But that's not true. And so it can actually be limiting to our potential, and as well as, limiting to other people's light, because I really think that our light is also, it contains the imperfections as well. I know for myself, I found that having 3 planets in Virgo in my natal chart, I've really found that, I love to refine things. I love to have a product or an end result of something that I've done and that I feel like it's perfect. It's just to the vision I want. But that isn't always the case. And often what I find is that even in the mistakes, it actually creates something even bigger that is even better. And so, yeah, that's just what is up for me, and what I wanted to bring for the live today is just sharing this piece of the Virgoan energy and contemplations, and I hope that it's something that could be helpful for you as we are coming to the new moon in Virgo. And there is, especially with Mars trining Pluto, I think that could really be looking at how do we have boundaries, whether that's in the outer world, which would be a Capricorn theme, or even if it's in the inner world, where it's like, yeah, no, I'm not going to actually think of my, let's just say, imperfections as a mistake, or I am actually not going to doubt myself. I'm going to recognize I'm just on a journey. And so it could be really like assessing those boundaries within oneself around those kinds of themes, or it could just be with others as well, or out in the world. And So I'll let you think about that for yourself, but I thought that would be an interesting contemplation, and I think that's it for today. Happy new moon very soon. It's on September 6th. And as you know, I will be back tomorrow. Thank you for watching.